Have you guys ever dreamed of running around the map and hip-firing your enemies to death with the weapon class that has the worst hip-fire accuracy in the entire game? Well, you're in luck because with Season 7 and the addition of the no aim down sight chopper LMG, you too could be living out your hip-fire dreams in no time. That's right guys, obviously the intro is a bit of a troll, but today we are looking at the new chopper LMG, so I'll be going through my review of that as usual, where I'll give you guys the stats, how I think you should use it, and how good I think it is, and I'll do a quick class setup at the end as well. As a lot of you are already aware, the kind of defining trait for this weapon is that it can only fire in hipfire, and I guess you could call it a more accurate hipfire mode, so the aim down sight button is still there, but instead of switching you to a red dot sight or a tac scope or an iron sight, it just kind of zooms the screen in more and makes your gun more accurate. I'll explain exactly what I think of this feature, where I talk more about just how good I think this weapon is, but before any of that, I would love if you guys could hit the like and subscribe button on this video. We're sort of getting closer to 200, so hopefully I'll be there by the end of the month. As a special side note though, I'd love to give a shout out to Highlights Cobra's, I believe it's the Rockstar montage. As of right now, he's not giving me anything for this shout out. In fact, he doesn't even know I'm doing it, so if you're watching this, awesome work brother. I will link that down below, you guys can have a watch through of it. I thought there was just some really nice clips and edits in there, so do go check it out. I did think it deserved a little bit more attention than it's getting. With all that said though, we'll have a look at stats now, and first, of course, as per usual, is damage and range. With a 4-shot kill out to 11 meters, a 5-shot kill out to 35 meters, and a 6-shot kill beyond that, this is a pretty hard hitting LMG. If you guys have played with or against this gun, you'll probably know that already. It does hit pretty quickly. That kind of doesn't make sense, and I meant to say it hits pretty hard, but on the other side of time to kill, we've got rate of fire, and this weapon fires at 745 rounds per minute, which in this game, in COD Mobile, is quite fast, so overall this gives you a quite good time to kill on this weapon. Next up, we're having a look at recoil, and this gun has a low-ish vertical but quite a high horizontal recoil, especially if you hold down the trigger for a while. So while that's not too bad for control, it is hard to be really perfectly accurate with this weapon, and it's harder to practice controlling the recoil, but you guys can just pull down and probably do your best. This gun isn't really all that big on accuracy, as you guys know already, since it can't aim down sights and since you can't put those bullets exactly where you want them anyway. I have explained it in previous videos, but in case you're new or you don't already know, the horizontal recoil is pretty much the side to side bounce, and it can really go either way, so honestly you just have to probably burst fire with this weapon. That's your best bet, and hope for the best at long range. With the handling stats next, so this is where we look at mobility and ADS time and reload time and things like that. This weapon is not a very mobile weapon even for LMGs, which is a bit of a pain unfortunately, because LMGs already handle quite slow, so you already know that your SMGs are really fast and you can reload and run around and aim down sight really quickly with this or with these weapons. The ADS time, I guess if you want to call it an aim down sight time, is a bit on the slow end as well, but because it's not a true aim down sight, you do move around a little bit faster than the other LMGs when you're scoped in or when they're scoped in, so that is a plus side of this weapon. The reload speed is also a bit slow for LMGs at 4.4 seconds, but hey, it's an LMG, no one is expecting a super fast mag kind of reload like the GKS or ICR, so that's probably not going to be too much of an issue. That is all for the stats, but now I kind of wanted to talk about this gun in general and how good I think it is and how you should be using it. So what you're pretty much getting with the chopper LMG is a really fast killing weapon that is a bit difficult to handle. Because this gun does kill pretty quick and can spray out a lot of bullets, it might feel a bit OP to play against, and especially if your opponent lands their burst really well. Initially when I played against people that were using this gun, I was like, hey, this thing is really good, or I hope it's not too broken and all that stuff, but really the combo of a weapon that kills really fast but is also only good at close range because of the no aim down sight thing, and also handles really badly as well, is not really a good combo in my opinion. Now before you rage at me and stuff, and if you like this weapon, feel free to mention that in the comments, and you can disagree, but I don't rate this weapon very highly overall. I'm not at all saying that this is a terrible weapon by any means, but it does kind of have issues at all ranges, so obviously it does kill pretty fast up close, but I think people read into that a little bit too much. So with weapons that are good up close, you really need a good mobility stat, you need to be fast and you need to strike quickly, because you have to be able to duck in and out, otherwise you can dive in and get a kill maybe, but you'll just get traded out really quick, especially if you're playing against good opposition. And unfortunately the handling as well, and here's one other thing, the iron sights zoom in at, or not the iron sights, but the aim down sight with the weapon zooms in with the usual 2.67 times of LMGs, which is too much at close range if you're asking me. So SMGs and ARs are a bit less, and think about it like almost like using a tac scope at close range. It's really hard to hit your targets. Like maybe you'll be able to, since you're already pointing at them, hit the first guy pretty well, but if you need a flick to someone else, it's gonna be really difficult, and all these issues kind of add up at close range and make it a very, I don't know, it doesn't feel nice to use at close range. If you guys think different, of course, like that is just my opinion at the end of the day, but I really don't think that besides the time to kill, these stats are good for close range weapons. At long ranges as well, as you know, with no proper scope or aim down sight like iron sight kind of thing, it's gonna be not very good most of the time. So sometimes you get a lucky burst in, and honestly the accuracy isn't as bad as it might sound since it's like hipfire only, but if you have an assault rifle that's going up against you, or even another LMG with a red dot or a tac scope, you're gonna get absolutely shredded unless you land that lucky burst, which you don't really want to be relying on. It might seem like I'm being a little bit harsh on this weapon, but I do find the chopper LMG to be a little bit mismatched in its stats. It's good for, say, like holding a close angle, but that's kind of a specific situation. I was doing that a bit at the start of this video on that B point and meltdown. It's definitely not a useless weapon by any stretch. There are far worse guns in the game, but unfortunately it'll never really be a top tier weapon in my eyes. Obviously it has its issues at close range, and it could be a really good medium to long range SMG with that range, but that no aim down sight really does hurt it, and unfortunately it's not reliable at that range either. If you guys have figured out a good way, or you think you figured out a good way to use the LMG though, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to find out. Maybe I've just done it wrong, and maybe it's just because of my playstyle and it's too different. Now though, I want to have a quick look at attachment setups before I finish the video. Obviously, there's no optic, and unfortunately you can't put a foregrip on this weapon either, but I've gone with quick draw as my first attachment as always. You guys I know are sick of hearing that, but the ADS time always matters, and especially with the weapon that you need to be using at close range, this has a very slow aim down sight time, so quick draw really needs to be on there. The next one is laser sight, because it's a hipfire weapon, and hey, laser sight increases hipfire accuracy, which you will absolutely be needing, so laser sight is, I would say, a must-have on this gun as well. And the last one is really up to you. I wasn't 100% sure what to put on here, but in the end I decided to go with fast reload or fast mag, whichever you want to call it. This weapon, if you're using it at close range and you run out of ammo, yes, it has 100 rounds, but you need to be boosting that reload time stat. It is really slow, and if you get caught out at close range, you are so dead. So just to give yourself a little bit more of an edge and a little bit more chance of survival, I have put fast reload on there. But that is all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you didn't think I'm being a bit too harsh on this weapon. If you did, or if you have any other thoughts, be sure to comment on this video, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'll be back with more, and I'll see you all in the next one.